Hi everyone, welcome back to ITOM batch 3, day 21. How are you doing guys today?
Yeah, doing good, Ajay. How about you?
I'm also
Doing well.
good.
Thank you.
Doing good, Ajay.
Good to hear. Okay. So yesterday we are discussing about the process classifiers as well as we are discussing about if I think Mastan, can you go on mute please? Thank you. So yesterday we had discussed about the process classifiers as well as if customer wants to be discover a custom application or any application which is not able, which we are not able to discover or not able to create any relationships using the out of the box things, right? So in that case, the process classifiers comes in the picture and then we have to be create the application pattern. Right. So any questions in that one before proceeding to the next things, guys, from your side?
Ajay, I have a questions. Actually, yesterday I gone through that session.
Mm-hmm.
Um, whenever working on the pattern side, and what are the most kind of patterns we do custom, Ajay? That's one
No,
question. Hmm.
who said we are creating most of the time custom pattern? I'm not preferring that one to create a custom pattern most of the time.
Now, suppose if a client asks us to create a custom pattern, and mostly on which kind of cases the custom patterns has been created, like only for applications, finding applications if not application is not properly mapped in that case, or any other alternate cases as
Okay, so there are couple of scenarios when customer can ask for custom pattern, but it depends basically, right? So let me give you scenario. Now customer has created some custom operating system and which is running on a infrastructure, right? If that custom operating system which have built by customer and you want to discover that, first of all, that type of pattern is not available in ServiceNow because ServiceNow don't know about the custom operating systems which is built or which is configured by particular customer, right? That can be varies customer to customer. Like standard operating systems, as you know, Linux, AIX, Solaris, Red, or whatever, right? As well as Windows or the standard network type of devices. That's the pattern already available in ServiceNow, which you can use, right? But if it is something custom, then in that case we have to go. Second thing again, out of the box, there are lots of process classifiers or lots of application pattern available in ServiceNow. But what happens, that's are for again for standard applications and which is the most used applications in any enterprise environment, right? So that can be Tomcat, Apache. I just tried to say tomato, but it's not tomato. Tomcat, Apache, any type of database, which can be SQL, Oracle, Postgres, any type of database or any type of applications which is running. So if you know, and if I already just let me share my screen quickly to showcase you. Right. So let me know if my screen is visible.
well. Yes, Ajay. Yeah.
So I'm going to in discovery pattern just to showcase you already there are lots of flavors, lots of application type or lots of infrastructure type of pattern available. If just quickly see 47 infrastructure, and if I just quickly go through that all 47, you can see 8 load balancers in the both ways. It's 8 load balancers through SNMP, through SSH, ACE load balancers, AIX, right? Altron, and whatever service now trying to understand from the enterprise organizations or the different type of organizations and they are using. ServiceNow is working on that one to get that particular pattern to be built out of the box. So you no need to be create, but still couple of things which is not reachable to ServiceNow and couple of applications, custom applications or custom OS, which is not used by too much organizations. Like in my organization, I built some custom OS, custom application for my purpose that should not be used by any other organization. In that case, we have to be develop the custom pattern only, right? And most of the time, what I see, we are not and we have not building patterns for OS related things. All most of the things OS related things is already available. We have to be create the pattern for applications. If I go here and just to showcase you, there are 184 patterns available for application things, right? Where sorry, where you can see .NET application, 8 and application again, again for load balancer services, Active Directory applications, agility processes, LTON, right? Azure database, Azure load balancers, lots of there, right? So if I just quickly just to showcase you, if I, which is standards basically, if I type Oracle, if I type correct name, if I'm not wrong, let's wait to complete this one. So what I'm trying to mention you, the custom pattern comes, I think it's not Oracle, it's data, I think, if I'm not wrong. Let's see. So basically, most of the time we are not going to be create custom patterns. Only in that case we are going to be create custom pattern where that custom application built by the customer for their specific use, right? Or customer is looking something more information on any OS type patterns or any application type of patterns, right? In that case, as I already mentioned, we should avoid to create a new complete custom pattern. We have to use the extension section of the pattern to discover more attribute related to that particular application or particular OS. Instead, modifying of the existing pattern, right? So we should not go for modifying the existing pattern, and we just only create the extension section in this particular things. So we can discover if customer is looking for more attribute of it. That is one scenario. If complete custom application or custom OS is built by the customer, that is the one scenario. And the third scenario is something which is new technology introduced by any OEM or any enterprise organizations which they are using, and which for that particular things out of the box pattern is not available. In these three scenarios, we only have to be create custom pattern. But if you ask me, Ajay, how many projects you have worked on it and how many custom pattern you have built it, right? I worked on it more than 40 projects for discovery only, right? But I worked only 10% of the custom pattern. All of the things I achieved using the out of the box pattern only. It depends how, or in which way you are going to be convey customer to creating the custom things. Like it's up to us. Like if customer comes to us and ask you, like that needs to be discovered, that is something important and all, I can say I can go ahead, but before proceeding to doing custom things on ServiceNow instance, I'm just going to be pointed out the all things, what will be the consequences using these particular custom things in your environment, right? Definitely, if you are going to be upgrade, you have to be check every time on those things. Definitely, if something comes from the ServiceNow out of the box, on those particular things, that will going to be impact you, right? So I'm going to be point out, I'm going to be note down everything and just giving that customer stakeholders to providing, sir, I'm not responsible for that if something is going to be happen after my implementation things done, right? So customer is also understanding nowadays, which I see customer is also trying to move out from the custom things to ServiceNow out of the box things. Why we are doing custom earlier? Because that time ServiceNow is not that mature enough related to that things. Like when I started in 2006-17 my ServiceNow career, that time that much lots of discovery pattern is not available. That time we have to be build custom patterns, right? But not nowadays. As I yesterday mentioned, ServiceNow discovery and service mapping pattern plugin is available, which is going to be update, which is going to be updated new pattern release every 3 months. something they are going to be update on the pattern side, but we just need to be wait for couple of days, couple of months sometimes. Also, there is an idea portal of the service now, if you know about it, right? You can go, you can raise a concern skill like, sir, we are just trying to avoid creating the custom pattern, but we have received that requirement. If you can build a out of the box pattern, definitely ServiceNow team will take it up that particular idea. Might be in future release or might be in next release of discovery and service mapping pattern, you will see that particular pattern available out of the box, right? But it just to up how we are going to be handle the customer. I hope it helped to, give the solution or answer of your query.
Yes, Ajay, got it. And the other question is, Ajay, actually, while creating a custom pattern, you are creating a process classification and process handlers, right? Is that
Mhm.
first thing we like? Is the first step we need to do that, or like before that we need to create a pattern?
Right. So that process classification or process handlers for application type of pattern. If you want, like, again, a scenario here. If your customer comes, I'm using RaptorDB or RapidoDB or something, right? That is out of the box, no pattern available for that. You need to be discover it, right? What I try to understand from that customer, first of all, that's my ask to the customer, sir, the DB which you mentioned, Rapido or Raptor or whatever, on which OS it is running, right? It's running on Linux only, or it's running for SSH, or it's running on which type of OS. First thing. Second thing, how can I identify that is running on this particular machine? Is there any process running on related to that? Is there any PID is related to that? How I'm going to be identified? These two things is the basic questions to understand. Third thing is, if I'm going to build a custom pattern for that, how is your team is going to be help me out to provide the correct queries, correct commands, correct process, right? Because I need to be configure those particular things in my custom pattern, and I'm not an infrastructure guy. I'm a ServiceNow guy who know ServiceNow, but your team need to be support there. Third thing. Fourth thing is something, what attribute customer is looking for that particular table, database, RaptorDB or XYZ, right? So I just trying to understand these particular attribute is looking for. And now the fifth question is, I'm also going to be asked, do you want to be populate that particular thing in out of the box existing database table? I can use any cloud, database DB table or whatever, right? Or you're looking to create that particular type of inventory or that particular type of CI in the custom table, right? If it is looking for custom table, then I again need to do my intelligence and understand where I can create a custom table, what will be the parent table for that particular database table, right? Then I'm going to be creating some identification and reconciliation rule as well. And then I'm going to be configure my process classifiers and handlers, and then I'm going to be configure my pattern for it. This is for application. Now, if again, now the second thing is customer comes to you and he mentioned that we have a custom OS which is running on a couple of devices, then and you need to be discover it, right? So what will be the first process if you're running discovery for anything, right? It's just exam probe. So now you are going to be asked, sir, on which protocol or on which port I'm able to understand, I'm able to get the info that OS is running on that IP, that infrastructure, right? So I'm going to create a SASM probe from IP service table or that classifier from that, right? Then second thing, the classifiers I'm going to be create, based on that I'm going to identify this is the OS, this is the parameters. If this particular parameters is going to be matched, then it's going to be classified. And the same time I'm going to understand what type of credentials that particular custom OS is going to use it, right? And in which class, in which table you have to be created, right? So again, if it is a custom, you have to be create a custom table. If it is a normal, you just need to be populate the same thing in server table or any existing table, you can use that one, right? So that particular things you are going to be asked. Now your classification is done, right? Credential match classification. Then third is again pattern. Then you have to be right what attributes customer looking for that particular class or particular OS. and you have to be type, or you have to be run those particular steps to be get that informations from that particular queries or the commands and just populate to the target table. Simple. So, and again, that I'm definitely agreed. Whatever I'm mentioning, it's simple. It's not that much simple while you are going to be configure the custom pattern. I 100% agreed on that side. But the thing is, it will take time first. Second thing, we just need to understand the requirements, and we just need to be have a spoke available from that particular team who are going to be help me out to provide the queries, who are going to be help me out to provide the understanding about their OS, about their product, about their application. That is the clear thing. If it is available, then I'm okay to create a custom pattern. Apart from that, if things are available, things is there, I think it's easy to create a custom pattern then. Otherwise, no. I hope.
Okay. Yeah. And it could be better, like, if you discuss more scenarios on this pattern, it will helpful us, Ajay.
All right. So, I can put more scenarios there, right? But end of the day, this is the process only for OS and the pattern, or OS and application pattern. There are two types of pattern only end of the day, right? Shared library is part of the infrastructure pattern or end of the day. Cloud resources again for the cloud resources things basically. And I have never seen I have created any custom pattern for cloud resources because that is up to date for now. Two cloud is mostly going to be used by the customer, that is Azure and AWS, and for that lots of pattern available and lots of things is coming day by day related to from ServiceNow discovery and service mapping plugins basically. Right. So definitely I'm going to be include, but before that, as I mentioned, we just need to understand the where and what things we have to be make sure while creating a custom pattern, right? So yesterday we are discussing about Intune. Now let's go back. Let's open the Windows table first again. Any other questions from anyone else before that?
Ajay, in the same, like, iTunes, something you yesterday were discussing, right? There I can see the relationships runs and run.
Yes.
Yeah. My question is, like, can't we approach that by using, mapping, service mapping, like, doing mapping in the CMDB side?
Doing mapping. Sorry, I'm not getting it. Can
No,
you?
actually, I have bit confusion over here. In the relationship side, runs and runs has been mentioned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, what is the need of that? And suppose if you is there any alternate way, like, to approach that, like mapping,
Okay,
is that work?
now let me give you an example here. Okay, I got your point. You know what you are trying to ask. Let me ask you, if I just need to understand. Okay, I just need to understand about your relationships with your father, your mother, and your brother and your sister and your wife. How I'm able to identify कि Mastan is related to that particular components. First thing. Right. So let's take an example. I'm creating a database for your family and I just put it 10 records. One is for Mastan, one is for Mastan wife, two for Mastan kids, and a couple of records for Mastan brothers, sisters, and all right. And top of it, also I'm just adding grandmothers, grandfather, grandmother, or your cousin sisters, and your uncles and aunt, right? So I just created simple records in ServiceNow. Okay, or in ServiceNow or in any database. Let's take an example of it. Do
Okay.
is that particular simple database is going to be help me out till that time. If I don't know who are impacting to what, let now I will give you one more example. If something, let's take an, sorry, I'm just taking that particular example, but let's take that example as well. If your father is not well, right? So how I'm able to understand if your father is not well, what will be the implications of it? Might be its impact to your family, right? If it is impact to your family somehow, if you're working somewhere, your work is slow, might be your mother is also, little bit not well due to that reasons, might be your wife is also impacted due to that. But if I created a relationship, I have a visibility, this is just a normal relationships, and I have a visibility. If Mastan father is, not well, that particular things will be impacted, right? So that's why we are trying to do that type of relationships in service now, where I was just to showcase this is my hardware, this is my infrastructure on which that application is running, that network is connected, that disk is connected, right? This is just for horizontally relationships which we are creating in this particular runs on runs table. That can be couple of things is out of the box, and couple of things we are going to be create manual as well sometimes, right? So it will give me a picture. If my this particular infrastructure is impacted, what is the reason behind that? Might be that infrastructure is impacted end of the day, but this is impacted due to that application is not working, this is impacted that particular drive is not working. You are getting my point, right? So that's why we are creating that relationship to showcase a clear visibility horizontally, that particular device is connecting to that particular type of devices in different ways.
Got it, Ajay.
Okay, that's the only reason. Now on top of it, service mapping comes in the picture. That is completely different. Basically, which that top of it service mapping will give me a clear visibility about a specific application service or application. In the same way, if I just give you a hierarchy of your family, so your grandfather or grandmother comes on the top, that's connect to your father and mother, and that's connect to you and your brothers and sisters, and then connect to your child, right? So it's just a particular hierarchy for your family specifically. If I just need to check what is impacted in a Mastan's family, then I can go and refer the service mapping, or I can say the this particular architecture I'm going to be refer. The same way I'm going to be create one map for your uncle, for your aunt, or your some other family members as well. This is just an example. Don't take it wrong. So it will give me a visibility, it give me an understanding about that this is the impact, there is impact, and that's can be an issue. Okay.
Got it, Ajay. Yeah, okay.
Sorry, I'm using that type of example, but that particular examples is we are able to correlate with our life day-to-day needs or day-to-day requirements, and I think that's very easy to understand most of the time, that I feel. So I'm coming back to the things, right? So yesterday we discovered that machine and we are able to create, I fixed it, this particular one yesterday. If you see, the two applications are created, but now it's fixed and it's only creating one application. So this is the application which is created through our process classifiers. If I just open this here, the attribute.
What did you done, Ajay, regarding yesterday we were creating two applications, right? Uh,
I mentioned, like, I created two process classifiers with different
okay.
filters, right? That's why it's just to showcase, because there are two batches running in morning and evening. So I showcase to them as well. And, that's why I created two classifiers, and that just simply I disabled it one, because there are, classifiers again, you can create multiple filters, multiple conditions on it. And if both are active, that both are going to be classified that machine. Right. So that's basically happening due to that only. So we are able to discover that machine yesterday, and where I'm going to be populate CMDB CI APPL. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be populate in the CMDB CI, but CMDB CI APPL is my parent table. Under that, lots of application, lots of out of the box application table available for again tomato, not Tomcat, again Apache, again JBoss, again Java, I think JavaScript applications, or there are a couple of, right? I'm not using that particular child tables. I'm directly putting to my parent table, which is my CMDB CI APPL. Also, as I mentioned, we can do the same thing for custom table as well. We can create a custom table under the CMDB CIPPL, and I can populate that particular data there, and it's happening through process classifiers only, as I already mentioned yesterday. Let me quickly showcase you. Processes, I think, if I'm not wrong, yeah, it's under the CI identifications. ITOM. If you see here, whatever I have selected here, application, right? I've selected application table. Whatever table I'm going to be select here, that record is going to be created in that particular table once I run the discovery once again, right? Again, runs on runs relationships. Why I used it, because there are lots of relationships, as I already mentioned yesterday as well again. But why I'm going to be runs on runs, because that application runs on that particular infrastructure. That's it's denoting runs on run relationships, right? If I just want to create relationships for any user, so and that user is owned, right? So I will put on by, basically. So it's denoting this is infrastructure which is owned by that particular user, right? The same thing if something contains on it, right? I can go for contains, contained by. If my infrastructure is going to be consumed by some different application, I can put my infrastructure is going to be consumed by that particular infrastructure, right? So there are lots of applications which have different type of use cases, different type of examples, which you can understand whenever you are going to be discuss and understanding the requirement of it, right? Why we require to create a relationships from my infrastructure or my application or whatever we have to do. Runs and runs is most of the time we are using for my application purpose. If I just want to create some application or that have want to show dependencies basically, so in most of the time runs on runs is going to be used in that case. Right, so that, as I mentioned, that app that is going to be populated in this particular table CMDB CIPPL, that is happening from this process classifiers, and these the conditions based on that is going to be identified. And if I scroll it down, you can see here as well, that's also available. The application record is created based on this particular running process, right? Now we have just already created one custom pattern yesterday, which is iTunes. If you see here, the versions, TCP port installed, everything is blank, right? Nothing is populated here. I just tested this one. Let me leave this one and let's save and we'll showcase you again. Okay, so that is simply everything is blank now. What we have to do in the pattern, basically, let me go to discovery pattern. I think it's already opened it somewhere. Yeah, here. Let me open this one. Okay, and this is open. Let me open. Where is this? Pattern used to discover CI open in designer. Okay, this is open in some different way. It's opening. Give me one moment. Yes, so that's I have created. Again, why I choose application, because we want to discover application. We are not doing any infrastructure OS pattern here. Second thing, Intune is my name. I just put it random name. I can put anything here. CI, again, on which which table I want to be populate, that one is on CMDB CIPPL table. Run order, I just put it none. If you want to put any specific order, you can put before or after of any pattern which is going to be triggered to discover that machine related to IES, related to any dependency mapping or something, right? And then description and enforce process classification, which is going to be classified based on the process classifiers, right? Then I put this one. Now let's take an example. This is your out of the box pattern available for ITOM. Now customer comes to you and everything is populating here, but customer wants to populate installed. Let's take an example. No need to be do modification in this particular pattern. Just go and create new extension section under that particular pattern. Ask the command or the query to get the install date and just populate it from there itself. So in that case, you not customize the pattern, you just configured the new thing to get it. Simple. So if something if something happen in the future, in any upgrade or any updates come related to that pattern from ServiceNow, it's not impacting for you anything. Getting my point? So if new requirements come where we can try to avoid modifying the custom patterns, we can go for extension section for it. Yeah, yes, someone raise hand. Yes, Mustan again.
Ajay, I have a question here. Suppose we made a changes on the out of the box patterns. You're saying that we need to create an extension section. So suppose if any upgradation is happened, did that it will go or it will stay?
It will stay. You have not
Okay.
modified in the pattern. You are not modified in any out of the box pattern. You create a new custom extension section. That's it. So it will stay definitely. It will not going to be anywhere.
No, anyhow, we need to capture any updates it, right? So
Definitely you have to be capture it if you want to move it from one instance to another instance, then definitely. Without that, you cannot move out. Discovery schedules or discovery data, you cannot capture in an update set, but any configuration changes related to, like I did in process classifications here, I created new process classifications. I created a new pattern that I have to be captured in update sets. Definitely.
okay, got it, Ajay. Because I was just thinking that whenever if we are making to out of the box, right? Then if any updations happen, that will be gone. I was thinking, okay, now got it.
It's not the case for that one. If you modify it, because what they are going to do changes. Definitely, if ServiceNow is providing any update, they are going to change in identification sections because they don't know about your extension section configured for it, right? So any updates comes for the pattern that will comes for this particular identification section only, right? And that you are not touching it, right? It's out of the box, it's running. If update is there, that's it's fine. But it's for extension, then you can do it from here. Simple.
Okay, then update set will be in global application or any particular application for this, Ajay?
No, it can be recording the global.
Okay, got it.
You can do it in global, or there's one thing as well which you can use. I think discovery and service mapping pattern. If there are a couple of pattern which is specifically designed in this particular discovery. I'm not sure because that plugin is not here in my machine, not activated, but there is one more scope discovery and service mapping pattern, because a couple of patterns comes from that particular plugins only, so you can use that one if that is there. Otherwise you can create in global and just move out from one instance to another. That's it. Okay,
Got
now
it.
let me open this identification section.
So Ajay, basically, we don't want to have like changes the like out of box things. So we want if any custom steps we need to add, we have to add in the extension section.
Rhythm, first of all, sorry if I'm understand correct me if I'm wrong. we need to be understand the difference between configuration and the customization. There is a very thin line between them, right? Customization is something which is already written in ServiceNow, already configured it, and we are modifying that one, right? We are not modifying anything in out of the box which is provided by ServiceNow. What we are doing here, we are just customizing. Oh, why? What is that? Some issue is there. Let me open once again. It's due to internet. OK, and the configuration is something which we are configuring based on our requirements, right? So does anyone ask you not to write business rules, multiple business rules, but definitely someone asks you on that side, whatever the out of the box business rule available, don't modify it.
Absolutely.
Right. So if someone asks you, don't create UI actions, multiple UI actions, but someone definitely asks you if UI actions already available, don't modify it. Right.
Correct.
So if you are modifying the existing thing, that we call customization, and if we are doing some configuration based on our requirement, that we are saying configuration. Right. So this is process classifiers which we created here. It's a configuration. If I modifying the existing process classifier, that is customization.
Okay.
Right? So we should avoid to customize basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, now, like, that's particular pattern which we are creating iTunes applications, which is running on my Windows machine. Okay. And first of all, anything before modifying or doing any custom configuration for any pattern, just go for debug mode first of all, right? Just select the mid server, select the horizontal discovery. Okay, and there are two things, top to down and horizontal. You are doing for horizontal discovery, not for top to down, right? Mid server I've selected. Provide the IP of the mid server. I'm just going to use the host name. Let's see. Okay, and the PID where my application running. So iTunes application running on which PID, that I have to check again. Here I can go, because we need to be discover or get the attribute for iTunes application. So that is running on 244 port, right? PID basically. So I'm just putting this one. Let's connect this one. Okay, so that's failed because it's not able to resolve that particular host name. Let's use the IP. This is something DNS issue which needs to be fixed at the customer end, right? So not worried. Let's use the IP here, right? So let's do that. Till the time that is running, I just want to showcase you here. If you see, the get data is not visible here, right? It's not highlighted. But once debug mode is enabled completely, you are able to see the get data. You are able to see the other fields available. It just created, right? See, simply once I debug mode is completed, now I have debug mode is simple in simple words. If I say I have a connection to the target machine, which I just want to be discover or get that applications. And I use this particular IP an example. We can use any other machine as well where the Intune is running, right? And if I go just quickly check star 119, is there any one more machine is there, right? If I'm not wrong, is the IP is 29. Yeah, this one. Let me see. Running processes. No Intune is there, but I will give you some tasks to you guys, so you can also try to configure that, running particular custom pattern basically for application, right? So let's go again. Again, it just first of all the operations as I mentioned. So when we are doing discovery for when we are creating custom pattern, we can use WMI, we can use for SSH, we can use SSH things. For SNMP, we can use SNMP, right? And there are lots of operations. Filter table, if we are going to be filter something, if we are HTTP GET call we need to do, we can do that. We can pass the file, we can pass the URL, pass the variable, put file, right? So there are different operations which is going to be used for different purpose, right? Now, if I just quickly select it in the guided mode, if you see, I just put it, this is my guided mode and this is my advanced mode. If customer provide you directly namespace, provide you that particular statement and provide that target table is something, a variable where you are going to be store the informations which is coming from that particular command, right? But if customer is not providing you that one and you have to do some troubleshooting from your side to get that information, right? So what I will do in my case, let's take an example. Okay, like get the WMI query for WMI query to get the vendor. Okay, I will search simply and I can see a WMI query which is PowerShell, basically get WMI object Windows 32 computer system product. Just see this one, right? And the dollar vendor, this is something, right? But if I just want to understand the path from root sim v2, okay, now I can see. Let me open this one. Basically what I'm trying to do here, that particular informations which I'm going to be put here, that's already available on internet. We just need to be do research something to identify, right? So this is PowerShell. I think something is there. Let me control F. Vendor, yes. So you can see vendor, name of the product, supplier or identity selling product, the manufacturer, reseller, OEM, and so on. That will be on computer system product, right? Now let me find out more thing if I can get it something. No, there's nothing related to that. Let's leave this one. This is not giving me the correct informations. Like, let me open some other. Let me open this one. Let me go control find vendor. No vendor, no, nothing is there. No, this is also not. Now let's tweak this particular thing. What I need to be find out, let's try to find out the table first, right? Get the WMI, get the WMI query. I'm just trying to help you out, the table query to get the WMI query for vendor attribute on Windows. I can see, yes, this one. Let me open these all four, right? It will help me out to go through that what is WMI and all. This is all about same. Let me directly find out vendor is something there. No, it's not the correct one again. Simple. Yeah, see, this is something I'm able to see that. So get WMI object class Windows 32 product, right? And this is something command which we are writing here to property name, version, identifying number, and right. So here what I understand, Windows 32 product is my table from where I can find out my vendor basically, right? So what I did here, I am going to this particular namespace, simply get the data. So I'm able to see the all tables, right? Let's do that one as well. Okay, now I'm able to see all the tables. Let me remove this one. Okay. Why it's not allowing me to modify? Yeah, now you can see all the tables here. What table we have selected? Windows 32 underscore product. Right, that table is there. We can type this one. Now retrieving the attribute on Windows 32 product table. Right, so whatever the attribute here, I can see caption, description, whatever, right? So I can, let's let's do one thing. What I'm trying to get, the version, vendor, the version, and there's one more attribute, name, and let's capture the install date. Let's capture this one as well. Okay, now I'm just trying to capture the 4 attribute, select install date, name, version, vendor version from this particular table, and this is my a temporary variable where I'm storing this particular data, whatever coming from that particular command, and this is an SQL command which is written automatically, right? So what I will do, I will test that one. See, so there are 23 records. It's for complete Windows 32 product table, right? Where 23 records running for related to that service or application running on that machine, where I can see agent client collector running, .NET, CloudStrike sensor platform, device, Amazon, application support, whatever it is, right? Now let's go to the next page. Did I am able to see anything related to Intune? No. Let's go to the next, right? So I can see Intune here. And if you see, the install date is also coming, right? Install date 29/5/2024, right? It's installed on the last year, basically. It means date, row number I'm getting, vendor getting, whatever I get the versions, I get the name, right? So I'm getting these one. What will be the my next step? Can anyone suggest me? Because in this particular step, I'm getting 23 record. What should I do for the next step?
I think we
I need
should.
to do filter table.
Yes, so we should filter out the
Right.
ITOM.
Right. So what we have, because we received 23 records, now we have to be filter out the data. I'm just simply going out to filter out. Again, now its source table is something where we have stored the data. Where we have stored the data, we have stored in CMDB underscore APPL in the last step. Okay. And here again, in which target variable we are going to be store the data is something like, let's put temp basically, right? Just to showcase you. And how we are going to identify this is a correct, how I'm going to be identify this is belongs to Intune, right? So I can put name contains iTunes, simple. Very simple. I'm just putting conditions. It's up to us if how we want to be identified. Let's test this particular step. And let's see. Did we get, there is no record to display. So condition is not matching. I think let's go to the last step again. Let's test this again. And let's see what filter we can apply. And which attribute the value is coming basically. Okay, name. What I can put as iTunes. Okay, let me do again. Let's go to the second step, cancel operation. Name is N is in capital letter basically. Name contains iTunes. Okay, let's test this. This particular debugging and testing will take some time because it's again connecting to that machine based on the connections which we have already built and try to get that information based on the WMI query which we have written, right? So now we are going to be filter out the data, right? So that's happening basically. Till the time it's happening, any questions from anyone?
So Ajay, in step 1, the root directory or whatever table we are getting initially, that will be coming by default for that pattern. Or...
That's that's not coming by default.
Okay.
So that we have to be configured. That first step, which is you are able to see collect application name, that I've configured. So that's why I showcase you like root SIMV2 is that, you know, which we have to use, and that's why which product, which table we have to be used and which attribute we have to be fetch, basically.
So how we will come to know that root sim v2 we have to select, like we are doing it for Windows now, but if suppose
Right,
that
so
is for
that we are getting from customer.
okay.
Simple. I'm not sure why it's not running. Let me test it again. Another call is in progress, it's saying. It's taking much time as compared to that, you know, it will not take that much. Might be it's not capturing in the temp, might be we have to put something. That can be the reason. It's saying active another, some job is running. Why I'm not able to see that. Let me save, let me refresh this. Stay on page, pattern. Okay, let me. So that whatever we have written in the first step, we have to be follow the root SIMV2, that particular product table and the particular attribute. That most of the time this particular query will provide by the customer to you. Let me go to the debug mode again. There is some issue, cannot provide invoke dot this entity. The entry point is null. No. And this is some illogical issues which we are getting now. Okay, now let's go to debug mode, ITOM training, horizontal. The IP is something this. Where is this?
So Ajay, every time we have to connect debug mode whenever we try to.
Sorry, come again.
Every time we try have to connect to debug mode to.
Yes, definitely we have to be connecting the debug mode. Right, whenever we have to be debug the pattern or we are going to be create a custom pattern every time. Right now the second step, let's complete this one. Okay, now let's test this one.
In the target, have we given correct name?
Sorry, come again.
The target table, what is TCMDB?
Yeah, it's my mistake. It's CMDB or anything which we can, you know, this is just a variables.
Okay.
This is just a variables where we are capturing the, you know, our temporary data for now, or we are storing our temporary data. Somehow what I'm able to see is, no, it's not the correct. Basically, what I'm able to get is not the correct attribute. Running command process. This is for application. Something is wrong because the attribute which is coming here, it's come NA. Yeah, I think that's nice. Okay, let me test it again. What I'm missing? Okay, CMDB CI APPL. If I'm not wrong, this is the table which we have selected here, and we are doing the date, install date, name, vendor, version from Windows 32 product. We are getting result here. Let's see. Yes, we are getting name, version, vendor, install date. Name is iTunes, which we are putting. Okay, but what I'm doing, I got it now. So what we have to do, CMDB underscore CI underscore APPL dot number one CMDB. Okay, number one now dot name. Okay, let's test this one. We are directly I'm directly putting the name basically, and that's not the case, right? So we have to be put where that variable is stored and what on the which place that will is stored. Again, it's blank. I think I'm doing something wrong here. Let me do this way, because I'm doing, I'm creating the custom pattern after a long time. Again, this will be not the case. That should be, let me put star. I will tell you why we are using star number one or without one, right? So, but let's see, the first of all, the result should come. This is coming blank. It means, let me use this directly. No, let me use the name, because every time this particular word, the N capital or small capital, no, this is something strange. It's contain iTunes. Source table is this, target is this, and it's contain iTunes. What will be the cause? Any idea, anyone?
No, Ajay.
What we are missing?
I think we are not giving the correct condition.
Should
Sorry,
we use
come
double
again?
quotes, Ajay, in iTunes?
I've already used the double quotes, right?
Yeah. Should we use that? That's what I'm asking.
Okay, oh, I hope I just missed to share my screen again. Let me share my screen again. By mistake, it starts sharing, right? So what we are doing, the CMDB CIPPL, it's in iTunes, right? Let me put CMDB underscore CI underscore APPL. I'm going to use this dot name. Let's remove the double quotes. Let's see. This is strange. Dollar. But I am able to see, there is some issue in this particular side. It's not connected properly or something is there. Let me do one thing. Let me save this. Let me close this. Let me open the pattern again. Discovery pattern. Let's close this. Okay, let me type iTunes, because sometimes it's because it's a now learning instance and it's creating some issues. I'm pretty sure about that, because this is the only things which is required to do for a pattern to get the results basically. Let me open this. Let me go to debug mode. ITOM training horizontal 198 dot. What is the IP? Not remembering now. Let me go and check. 2444 is the port where that application is running. Let's connect with that. You know, if you are able to see in the right side, the things will come in that way. The port or that, you know, this is the attribute which is available on my application table, right? So that will comes, and if you see that is coming like a star or something, that's something I missed. I thought this is something wrong. Also temporary variables is also visible here. If you see, like for that machine, OS name is Windows 2019, this management IP is this, primary IP is this, host serial number is this, OS class is this. So that is going to be automatically captured or automatically available once my debug mode is enabled, right? So it's my debug mode enabled now. It's done. Let me test this particular step again. There is two possibilities. Might be the data is very big, which is not captured in that particular variable where we are trying to store. This is coming. Only the we have add install and this, and this is we are capturing iTunes under the name under this particular variable. Okay, let's close this one. Let's go to the next step.
Ajay, in the first step, why it is showing as undefined test result something?
Where?
Can you run can you test it one more time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where?
And the above like collect application name is there, right? There it is showed me as undefined test.
Okay, so that's basically collect application name is the name of the step basically, right? So it's capturing from here. So it's showcasing in the second step basically untitled step basically, right? So if I put it is a filter table step, whatever the name we can give it, right? It's up to us. And now test this one. I hope this time again it's surprising me. Why the data is not coming?
In the CI attributes, it is showing a star in /a.
Again, right? So I'm still surprising why it's going to be like that. It should not be like that. Every time it's going to be this type only. There is some issue, I think, in this pattern or something. Right?
Source and target should be the same or like should be different, Ajay? Like
Can
you may
as of now, what we are doing, you know, we are just storing the data in variable. We are not doing anything. We have just not mapped anything to the target table where we have to be populate the data. Means if you remember, end of the day, what is our end goal? We have to be populate whatever attribute we are capturing here to populate in our CMDB CI APPL table for Intune record, right? But that's not happening. As of now, we are just fetching the data, filtering the data, and then we are going to do the transform or the set parameter values basically, right? We are not doing anything as of now.
Got it, Ajay.
Capturing
Got it,
that
Ajay.
one and just populating. Right, so source it's going. Let me try to this one and try. It's automatically, putting inverted commas, but that's correct. It's not an issue. There is not an issue to putting that inverted commas there. But still, if I put in inverted commas, this one, let's see. iTunes, if I'm not wrong, this is the correct name. Sometimes that can be possible. We are not using the correct CMDB CI APPL here. That's need to be figured out because the same thing I did for yesterday night sessions and that's working without any issue. I'm surprised why it's this is also surprising me why it's going to be in star and all, right? Put a dollar sign in front of variable. It's not a variable. Contains start with Intune. Let's try with that. Let me see. No, filter table does finish successfully. No, does not contain. And with equals to. Okay, let's try this one as well. Somehow that's showcasing me the things, but it's not getting here. CMDB CI APPL. Okay, let's do one thing. Let me try to figure out what is the issue behind that and why it's not running, right? I think don't waste time here to be, going for this so long call. I will try to find out because it's not the pattern standard pattern issue. It's something different. And just quickly showcase you the thing here on the now learning course as well. Okay. I'm here only. If you see, this is the first step which we did. Collect application name, WMI query, root SIMV2, Windows 32 product, name, vendor, and version. Here they have just added 3. I've just added one more field install just for the testing thing. And we are going to be populating the target CMDB CI APPL, right? The next thing is here filter table, step name operation is again filter table, source is this. Source, whatever, as I mentioned, source and target, whatever you want to put, you can populate. I'm using the same, right? CMDB CI APPL brackets dot name contains iTunes. I'm going to be same thing. So this is correct basically, right? The step is correct. Whatever they mentioned, I'm going to be capturing the same thing here. But still, whenever running, it's not capturing, right? Let me do one thing. Let me remove this one. Let me test this one again, and might be that
You're
can
not
be
using a dollar symbol,
right. Sorry,
dollar symbol
dollar is
in
for
the
we.
no there contains.
Okay, let me see one moment. Let me complete this one. Might be is something. CMDB. Yeah, that's correct. Now let's go to. Oh, my bad. Now you recall it, right? I'm missing this dollar symbol here, which is that's why I'm saying, that creating pattern is very, easy process, but lots of times I also see that one missing. Sometimes I do I missing is, fonts. Basically, sometimes I need to be refer that small or, um, what I can say are smalls. I'm just going to be type in different way, right? That's all. Also, we are going to be miss that particular variable, right? That will be the cause. I think now that we are able to get it 100%. That's dollar I'm missing. Yes. See, I'm able to see the result now. So that's I'm missing. I just, you know, due to that, what I did, I just removed the field. Okay, let me do one thing again. I just need to add the field is. What happened? Install date as well. Let me add the install date again and let's see. That's very easy, but we are just missing the dollar sign. Arey, come bhai. No, I'm not getting. Okay, get it. Windows 32 underscore product. Okay, now let me add the fields. Install date. Let me add install date to install location as well. Whatever the fields, I just want to add vendor version and where is the name? Yeah, name. Okay, that's this. And this is the only reason, that's why it's going to be blank, because as I mentioned, this is not the normal behavior of it. Yeah, I'm getting install date, name, row, install location as well, version, install. Yeah, I'm getting everything. Now close this one. Let's go to the next. The same way. Let's test this. Yeah, we are getting this one, this room into this. Okay, so I think the third step will be set parameter value, right? So let me do again. Let me use the set parameter value. What value we have to be populate, that's also matter, right? So here in that case, if I go here again on the set parameter value, this is the value I need to be populate, and where I need to be populate on this particular field, I'm going to be populate in here in this particular field, CMDB CIPPL.name field, right? So this is the target table field, CMDB CIPPL.name, but whatever mentioned here, that's not correct. Let me put again why it's not getting this. Yeah, okay, that's whatever is populating here, that's not the correct, right? Whatever service now mentioned in their documentation, this is not correct. If I just, you know, simply put this one TMP. Okay, let's test this one. I'm getting the value CMDB CI APPL, a temp value is agent client collector @IP this. Okay, I will tell you why I'm getting this one, but this is something I'm getting as a result, right? So if I put temp here, I'm getting this one, but if I put this one, CMDB CI APPL.name, when I test this one, I'm getting no result basically. Because that's it value. You can see this one, the operation executed with no change in debug session. But if I just replace this one with the attribute, actual attribute of my table, this is my application table. Where is the name? Yeah, name. Let me put this one. And always we have to be see and we have to be pull the target value from the right hand side application table only, where we have to be populate. If I put this one and if I test it, and that will, oh, so in that case my filter condition is not worked, right? I'm getting the name. Where is the name? For iTunes is this. It's something not running properly, which I can feel again. Because name is there, identifying name is also there. There are 2 times name is coming. Installed it, name, internal space, version, and then class, and then fit then name. I think these 2 times we have selected the name. Is the case? Oh, it's not selected properly, and it's doing for the same. Yeah. Let's do one thing. I'm not sure why my mind is not working today, but let's do this particular things tomorrow once again, right? And it's very easy. Basically, we just need to be little focus on the variable side. We have to be little focus on that, capital letters and small letters. Basically, we just need to be focused on the correct target value attribute or variable where we need to be populate, and everything is looks good for that particular pattern side, but not sure somehow that's not working here. So let's do one thing. We will focus or we will continue again these particular things. And I think we have already running out of time this time. OK, before closing the sessions today again, any questions from you guys? I understand, this is something confusing or hiccups, but we'll continue again on that particular side.
I'll check. I'll check another. Get back to you tomorrow, Ajay. Because I was a bit confused. I'll try to go through one more time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. OK, I think no issues till the time. Let's see. We'll figure out and I will help you on this particular part. No issue. It's not a big deal. It's sometimes confusing. Basically, that's it. Then thank you guys. Thank you so much till the time. We'll meet you tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank you,
Ajay.
Ajay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.